Lordy. Mother Nature, right? She's been kind of a bit... So today, I want to talk a little bit about leadership. Now, there's no surprise that there's a ton of information, books, videos, speakers like this one, talking about leadership principles, best practices, all that kind of stuff. And I'm probably going to talk about that, but I want to back up just a second before we get into all the sort of cliche thing about leadership. And just say kind of one thing. Leadership isn't about you. Seriously. I think the first thing that happens when people start talking about leadership is they immediately go to the person. They go inside. What is the leadership role and how am I going to play it? I'm the leader. I need to do this. And they focus so much inside that they don't realize that there's one universal key ingredient to being a leader. And that's having followers. Guys, you could be the greatest leader on the planet in your mind. But if you have nobody with you, if you don't have a team around you, if you don't have people behind you, what are you leading? And more importantly, the reason that you're a leader, the reason that you're up front is those people behind you. One phrase that has come up time and time again in my talks and working with organizations, and I've heard it all over the place. I wish it was spelled out more. Leadership is not about being in charge, but it's about taking care of the people that are in our charge. Now think about that for a second. If you are so focused on being in charge of a process, the authority that comes with running something, running some operation, some team, some project, some event, if you are so consumed with being in charge, staking a claim to that, then one of the things that you're not doing is you're not taking care of those that are in your charge because you're not focused on them. The great leaders, the really impactful leaders, the leaders that you and I know, that you and I think of when we think of those great leaders of our minds, you could almost run a thread through all of them because the main thing that they did was look after one another. Look, the whole idea of leadership is that you have a charismatic person, you have their vision, you have something that moves the thing forward that we're talking about, whether it's an organization, a special event, a group, an initiative. The leader's going to have a role in that and is usually going to be the person who either had the genesis of this or has taken the ball and moved it forward. So there is a part of this that says, I'm here, guys. I'm in the lead. Let's go. And there is a bit of a I'm in charge of the situation. However, be the only person doing that. If you're the only person doing that, then you're not leading anything. You're a good advocate. You're representing something, an initiative, a group, whatever. You'd be very apt to say, I am in charge of this initiative, but without anyone behind you, without advocates and supporters and volunteers and staff, board members, those kind of people behind you, with you, around you, then how can you say you're being a good leader? And let me say this to all my friends who have a little excitement for awards and recognitions and back pats and all that kind of stuff. If you're looking for that stuff, man, you are in the wrong game too. Because if you think that's what leadership is about, you are fooling yourself. Leadership is about giving all the courtesy and all the kudos and all the love and support, backpacks, award recognition. Leadership is about giving that away. And the only thing you get to keep is when things go sour. Yep, you get to keep all the bad stuff. If anything that goes wrong, goes weird, goes incorrectly, falls apart, that's on you. And you alone. And why do I say that? Well, because I started off with you take care of those in your charge. So if something does go wrong and something goes horribly wrong in a project or a fundraising goal is not met or something doesn't happen with a special event, you got to take it on you and say that's on me and protect those around you. Now, there are lessons to be learned. There are conversations that have to happen. There are ways that you can work with your staff and figure out what we can do better. But fundamentally, the leader stands up and says, on me. That's on me. Just put it in the context so you can understand. So let's say you're at work and whatever your project was, you didn't make it. And this is now a little bit of a consistency problem. And imagine if the person walked in to your office and looked at you and said, DK, man, you did not make those numbers. Didn't make the numbers. If this happens again, I don't know if I can keep you here. In fact, if you don't make these numbers, you're gone. You talk about building an organization and having that being said, you talk about taking the rug and pulling it underneath somebody. There is no sense of safety, security, protection, teamwork, nothing. That's a threat. Get better or get out. Now, times that by how many times you think that conversation happens within organizations where everyone is sort of walking on eggshells, worried about the next thing. How long am I going to keep this job? Or then you get in your own head and you start thinking to yourself, I got to do better. Well, I don't know if I can do that, so maybe I won't risk that. So I won't stick my neck out. I won't stand up and say, hey, I got a new idea, a new innovation that maybe can help us better. You will be less likely to pitch innovation, pitch idea, work with other teammates, because if it goes wrong in the team and you're on the team, therefore it's on you. You build this culture of negativity simply by threatening people and by worrying that the numbers are the only thing. Look, hitting numbers, fundraising goals, hitting marks that you try to make in terms of your budget, your goals, your objectives, good on you for having them, good on you for keeping people up to date on them. But if you have those and you are threatening almost immediately, if you don't make the numbers, you're gone, your culture is going to be toxic. And nobody wants to be in a toxic situation. So as a leader, you reframe that conversation. You say, look, you didn't make your numbers. What's going on? How can we work together? How can we help make your numbers work? What is it about the system that's here? My resources, my support, the way I can help you make your numbers better. If you look at it that way, then that's true teamwork. And by definition, that's what you're doing as a leader. You're taking care of those in charge. You're asking if there's something wrong. There's asking if there's a way to get things done. And you're inspiring folks to make it better. It's not getting people off the hook. It's not giving them a handout. It's a hand up. So leaders, think about your own situation. Think about what you're doing. And really ask yourself, is this about me? Is my sense of leadership, my ego getting in the way of that? Do I understand that my leadership role is much more important than simply I'm the boss and that the buck stops here? Because, yeah, the buck stops with you, but what about all those steps before the buck? You got to do something with your team. So guys, thanks so much for hanging out with me again. I really do appreciate it. My name is DK and I'm with the Connect the Dots movement. We're a consulting firm that works with nonprofits and social enterprise engines. And if you're interested in working with us, please send me an email right here, doug@connectthedotsmovement.org. We're also on Facebook, so you can like and share this video and all the others that we have on there, facebook.com/connectthedotsmovement. And we're on Twitter. And by the way, follow us on Twitter because I take questions a lot from social media and a lot of them come from Twitter. It's a great way to ask us questions, and I do Q&As and also topics for these kind of videos. So follow us on Twitter right here, twitter.com/WeConnectDots, and ask a question, and it'll be, I don't know, in the next Q&A or maybe the next topic that we do in a video. But guys, thank you so much again for hanging out with me, taking out some of your day to share with these videos, like and share them around the social media webs. My name is DK, I'm with Connect the Dots Movement, and you have just been connected. See you around. York College, baby. Go Spartans. Nonprofit power.